Alrighty, what's going on, Burnouts? Episode
Five?
five? I think five. Okay, I don't have any notes in front of me, so episode five here. We got your host here, Jordan, Big J is what they like to call me, and my
And
co-host.
I guess this week I'm the co-host. Guess that's how it works now.
Whoever does the introduction's the host, and whoever second's the co-host. So all good. Just breaking down a pretty good race out there in COTA. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I saw some rumblings on Twitter. Quite a few people are considering this to be one of the better races of the year, and
Nice.
I would absolutely have to agree. It was obviously different. I'm sure you're familiar with how they cut the stage breaks. I believe that's only going to be for courses moving forward, but
That's what I thought I heard too.
I thought that kind of added a new element because, as you know, our fans know, Logan and I aren't the most seasoned of NASCAR fans. So when we got into racing, we've only had stage breaks, so it definitely felt as a more organic race to that effect. But before we obviously get into the nitty gritties, I'll pass it over to Logan. I just kind of wanted to start us off there. I thought it was a great race, is essentially what I wanted to get at.
And you know what, Jordan? I'm right with you too. I thought that was a great race. I saw kind of the same talks on Twitter. Saying this is one of the better races, and I completely agree. I mean, we've had a couple of snoozers. Unfortunately, we were at one of them.
Yep.
Till then, it was we've definitely had some not as good racing, and it's kind of funny. I was talking to Jordan yesterday, and I was saying because we started heavily watching NASCAR 1 year ago, and I was mentioning to him, I'm like, man, dude, we started off on possibly the best season that you could start off with. Last season was incredible, and so far this year, I mean, quite frankly, besides Fontana, I thoroughly enjoyed Fontana, and this race hasn't been that good. So it was a breath of fresh air to see. Really good race. I love a road course, first one of the year, and going to be really excited to see going forward a couple other road courses and see who performs well, if someone continues to perform well, on those road courses. So yeah, I mean, overall, I really did enjoy that race. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it helps too that COTA is just a phenomenal track. I mean, it makes sense that they race the F1 there. It's great track. It's a great road course all around. But kind of to your point as well, I mean, the first couple races of the year haven't been as good as they could be. But
Yeah.
I feel like we can also kind of just attribute that to it's motorsports. Not all races are going to be winners. Not all of them are going to be great. Kind of look at F1 this year. Red Bull's already running away from it, but we still tune in each week to watch regardless.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously it was a breath of fresh air this week, getting some nice, clean, close racing. Well, I say clean racing up until the 9 restarts there that we had at the end, but
Yeah, okay.
that's neither here nor there. Should we jump into the picks first? I think that's kind of how we've been structuring it the last couple episodes.
One thing I just wanted to touch on with kind of what you said is I completely agree too. It might be a boring race. Guess what? I'm gonna watch it.
Exactly.
I will dedicate 4 or 5 hours, unless it's the Coca-Cola 600 from last year. Then that's about 6 hours or so. But I'm gonna dedicate my time to watching it to provide the best information and feedback for our fans. And yeah, I don't care. I will watch it. It can't all be like the Fox commercials they have where we got cars flipping,
Oh, yeah.
Bubba Wallace getting out of his car and fighting Kyle Larson. Like, that's not going to happen on a consistent basis. There is a lot of boring racing, but, from fans like us that can understand the true nature of NASCAR and how it's, I tell anyone who's never watched NASCAR, I say it's chess on wheels. And they laugh at me, but, that clearly shows they don't know anything about NASCAR. I mean,
I've actually
it is a very strategic sport. What were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say I've never heard that saying before, and I actually like that. That's a good way to put it. Chess on wheels. Yeah, I'm gonna start.
Well, I'm surprised I've never mentioned that to you. That term. It's a very strategic sport, and just like
100%.
you could even say the same thing with F1 too. Tire management, hitting the pits, knowing when to pit, all that very important. So no, I love it, and like we said, it can't be an action fest every single week, but I'm still gonna tune in regardless. We don't have football, so you best believe on a Sunday afternoon I'm going to be watching NASCAR. So I should mention that. If you want to go into picks, you start it off.
Spot on. Well, I don't want to have to follow you, considering you decided to lock in 2 dubs this week, but I'll go into it. My locks this week, and I want to say this is about as good as you can get. Locked in Reddick, finished obviously P1.
Congrats, that's a dub.
Yep, absolutely it is. Locked in Bowman, Alex Bowman, finished P3. And I locked in Ross Chastain, and he finished P4.
Wow.
I don't know how much better you can get. I got a 1, 3, and a 4. I will freaking take that.
That is very good. I'll give it that. I mean, to be completely honest, you probably honestly ended up doing better than me.
If you look at that is, I will take that every day of the week. I should have gambled on it, truth be told. But just to finish off my picks, didn't do as well. I went with kind of a little shocker for the manufacturer. I went with Ford. I just thought maybe they could squeak it out. That was clearly a dud. And then my dark horse was McDowell. And where did he end up finishing? P12.
12. Still not terrible, honestly.
I'll take that.
Not terrible. And I'm going to take a guess and say, obviously, that you had a Reddick in your playoff picture, right?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, congrats on, good poll ending and a winner. But
I'll take it.
Sorry, I'm going to have to take the crown this week.
Yeah, it's all good.
I picked and I chose a fitting shirt to wear today. I thought this would make sense. So to wear my Tyler Reddick shirt. But I chose Tyler Reddick, and he won. And, my thought process, I'm sure you had the same one as well, Jordan, when we were deciding our picks this week. I'm sorry, but Tyler Reddick is a road course warrior.
Facts.
He won 2 last year, and then the other few races, he ended up in top 10 consistently in road courses. That's just what the man does. And I was considering too, because I remember it was either COTA or Sonoma last year. A couple names that float around my mind when I'm thinking road course. I'm thinking Tyler Reddick. AJ Allmendinger is very good. And then Alex Bowman has been really good at road courses as well. And so is Chastain. So all kind of those names were floating around in my head. But my official picks locked in were Tyler Reddick, P1, let's go. Allmendinger, where did he end? Good Lord. Help me out. Oh, 34. Yikes.
Oh,
and then Christopher Bell, I'm pretty sure was what?
31.
31. So don't get me wrong. My positioning, not great.
Terrible,
but,
in fact.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Almost god-awful, you could say.
Yeah.
But, end of the day, got to win. So did you on that.
Yep.
And it comes down to that manufacturer. I woke up today and I said, you know what? Toyota has been performing pretty terribly this whole season. They haven't won at all. And really, the positioning, we've seen a couple bursts with, I think Christopher Bell, to be completely honest, has been the most solid out of all the Toyota drivers. And, I would easily say so. Not mentioning today. But, I punched in Toyota, and I'm feeling great about that. Now, just to throw it out there, my dark horse was Truex. I'm pretty sure he was 17. So, and that the end with that late hit did not help at all.
Yeah,
so
he spun him out there.
Yeah. So, let's talk a little bit about manufacturers. Okay, so I will officially take. What do we got? I got a manufacturer win, and I guess you can keep this as we both got winners this week.
Yep, we absolutely
But
did.
you have a manufacturer run, right? Two. God, dude.
Back
Okay.
to back weeks.
We have been lying to our fans saying we would start recording this, and we say it and we don't do it. You know what? I will do it live right now.
It's as easy as a pen and paper as well.
Got it. You know, let's just do it, and let's put it all aside and officially do it. Oh, technical difficulty for a second. Sorry. Okay, what did you say? You have two manufacturers?
I got two manufacturers, and I got one winner now.
Okay. Winner. I got one. Jordan has one manufacturer, so none of us have gone. Didn't I get close on a dark horse, or was that you?
I think we both did. I think, if I'm not mistaken, my dark horse was Kevin Harvick, and for Phoenix, and that was within a 5-minute span. He was running P1, and then.
I'm sorry, man. You said you have two manufacturers, right?
Yes, two.
Okay. All right, guys. I just wanted to get that out of the way live, because we've been talking about it, and now we will reference it. And we'll start talking a little bit more about our playoff pitchers as the season goes on. But right now, we both had Busch. We both had Tyler Reddick. I know I didn't have William Byron. Did you?
No, sir.
And then who else?
That's going to
Joey
be
Logano.
We also gave Stenhouse the freebie because, but we don't need to get into that.
And I can guarantee I wouldn't have picked him too. So
I kind of wanted to pivot. I feel like we would be remiss if we don't mention. Speaking of the man on your shirt, today was a Tyler Reddick day through and through.
I got something too. Want to pull out a prop for today?
What on earth is that?
Yeah, it's a Tyler Reddick day for sure.
What is that? This? No, what is that?
It's a monster car.
I know, but what is the actual what am I looking at here?
Cardboard cutout monster car, and it's a Tyler Reddick day, so thought I should bring out my prop for Tyler Reddick and his win.
That is.
If I ever meet him, I'm gonna get him to sign this.
That is impressive.
Sorry, go on. I needed to find a good point to bring that out, and you set me up for it. So.
You were just waiting to bring in your cardboard cutout prop. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
All good. Back to what I was saying is it was through and through. You couldn't ask for a more dominant day from a driver. It was every restart, regardless. Going into turn one, it was like I can't even think of a term. Wreck-It Ralph, Demolition Derby, it was anyone going through turn one.
Congested.
There you go. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And that's a whole other topic that NASCAR has to look into for road courses. I know I saw a lot of people discussing it, a lot smarter than myself, and I agree with them. Going too wide into turn one on a road course, especially COTA, that's just a recipe for disaster. It made that race go from being phenomenal to being the last 30 minutes just a cluster of ridiculousness that was unnecessary.
Now let me ask you, did you like that though? With all those cautions, I know it was a decent amount. I thought it kept it extended the race obviously, but it made it interesting. Because I'm sorry, with this type of season where we have not had that many valuable restarts, it was kind of refreshing to see, okay, we got a restart. We're going to shake it up. What's going to happen? And as you're mentioning, sorry to interrupt you, but
all good.
Tyler Reddick just continued to prevail off of every restart. So, go on, but yeah.
That's it. You just stole the words out of my mouth. That is exactly where I was getting with. Regardless of the restarts, regardless of the demolition, Reddick came out of the pack each and every time, which was extremely impressive because not a lot of people else can say that. But to your point, I disagree. I did not like the fact that every lap it was just going into turn one, it was someone's getting wrecked because it didn't seem skillful to me. It was just drivers running up, bumping and rubbing on guys, spinning them out. It's like, no, that's not clean racing. That's not what, I'm all for that every now and again because, it is what it is. NASCAR, you're going to get a little dirty. You're going to, have to flare your elbows out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But that happened for 30 minutes straight. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. My opinion is that's just not good racing. And, of course, I'm no expert, but that's an opinion of a fan that's, yeah.
And what would you do to change that, though? I mean, I feel like that's the design of the track. It's that you're talking about that first turn, right? After the start, that turn one. Yeah.
Yes. So what I keep in mind, this isn't even my idea. I saw this, agreed with it completely. Instead of usually you go too wide, right? You go to a restart, you can pick the inside or the outside lane. All depends on the track. All depends on how dudes are feeling about their tires, whatever the case may be. For the road course, instead of going too wide into a corner, because the moment you're in too wide, dudes just flare. You know what I mean? It's you're trying to guard, you're trying to block, you're trying to do that. And it was going 6-7 wide into turn one. That is crazy. So what people were saying is simple rule change. Make it in the restart zone. You have to go single file. You're still going to get dudes flaring out, but it's going to limit the amount of cars that can just go from 2 wide to 7 wide. Does that make sense at least?
So you're saying single file line just for that turn one, then after the turn one, free game is what you're saying, right?
On the restart for
Okay, gotcha.
For the road course. That is what I'm saying, because it's a road course. It's not an oval. There should be a little bit of different tweaks. They already tweaked the stage breaks. I feel like that. Again, just my opinion, and it's not even an opinion that I formulated myself. Something that I saw and agreed with, but I felt like that was just made too much sense. But yeah, because again, it muddied down the race. It was great. And then just the last 30 minutes, it was just like, who's gonna come out of this demolition derby, So that's my thoughts.
Well, I guess this is the time to plug it in, but Burnouts, what are you thinking about this? Any suggestions we can make to improve the race over at COTA? Is Jordan / the idea that he found? Do you agree with that? Do you not? I don't know. Personally, I'm okay with what we had. I enjoy it. I love seeing it like that. It gets messy. It gets fun. Keeps you on your toes.
I just want to say, if the Burnouts agree with me, yeah, it was my idea. If they disagree with me, it was just some schlub I found on Twitter, and I just stole his idea.
Schmuck, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, I couldn't. If I remember correctly, the overarching reason we even brought this up is because it was a Tyler Reddick day. Through it all, came out on top.
All things said and done.
Yes, regardless of the BS, Tyler Reddick came out on top as he should have, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah. I was feeling extremely confident putting Reddick down, and there's a reason why. And let it be known too, when we put our picks in, me and Jordan are in separate locations. Yes. I put it in. I either text him, he texts me, throw it in. I don't even look at his picks. He doesn't look at mine. Even though I did mine first today. But, we just throw him in, and it would be wrong if I didn't put Reddick as a pick today. He's just the road course man.
That was an easy decision.
You know what I'm interested to see is how he's going to perform in Chicago. How anyone's going to perform in Chicago on that road course. That's going to be super cool. I can't wait for that.
That's more of a street circuit, though, no? I bet he's going to... I feel like the skills are going to translate, but...
I guess that would be the technical term for it. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I just think of it as if it's not an oval or anything, just call it a road course. But that would be a street circuit. Yeah, that's going to be sick. I can't wait for that. I think that's around 4th of July weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I think that took away Great America race.
I think you're correct. I'm looking up here. I want to see what is next week. It is
it's
Richmond.
Not Bristol, is it?
Nope, it's Richmond. Bristol's the week after.
I can't wait for Bristol.
I know.
I'm sorry. I don't care what anyone says. And I'm pretty sure you agree with me on it.
I do.
The dirt race is sick. And I'm sorry, you can give up, we got 36 races or so. I'm sorry, give up one race to have some fun. Let's go on the dirt. Oh, God,
Agree
I
completely.
cannot wait. But Richmond's also great, too.
I want to see, is Richmond considered a short track?
Look that up.
No, it's not.
No?
I don't think so. Don't quote me on it.
Uh-oh.
We'll have to do a little bit of research on our end on that. I want to check that because if it's a short track too, but I think it actually might be, that even makes it better in my opinion.
Yeah.
But did you have any? Oh, I was gonna say, did you have any other drivers that you kind of wanted to just mention, discuss? I know Kyle Busch obviously revitalized his day.
Back on? Yeah, I did want to go back and take a look, kind of see, looking at the top 10. God, I don't even know this guy's full name. Okay, there it is. Todd Gilliland. I'm probably not pronouncing his name right. Top 10, yeah, ended up P10. That's good. Another strong day for Ty Gibbs, too. This is his second race in the row, top 10?
Yep, I'm looking at that. That's actually that's nice. I have him in my playoff. I have him in my playoff locks. I was really actually, truth be told, during this race, I was hoping for a Byron win, and the reason for that is I would have gave him 3 wins on the year.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that because I want to see someone or a few drivers get a couple wins. So then at the end of the year, it's not just, if you got a win, it's all the winners locked in. I want to see some people in on points. I want to see some people, even if you don't get a win, I want to see some people rewarded for their consistency. And I know we haven't really talked about how we feel about the whole playoff, how they do the playoffs in NASCAR. That's not the discussion we've had yet on the pod, to my understanding, if I remember correctly. But
nope.
I'm a big points guy. I think it should be points all the way. So I would love to see Byron, Busch, Reddick now at this point, Logano. Those guys have already won. Maybe stack a couple on top of those, and we can see some dudes get in on points because that'd be really, really cool, my opinion.
I'm with you. I kind of like the format that they have right now. I think it's it's fair share when it comes to, getting wins, because at the end of the day, that's why I like, because the guys will, at the end of the race, they will make some risky moves to get a win, because, theoretically, if you win, you're in. Now, we know that doesn't happen all the time, and, what you were just mentioning and stuff, but I don't want guys playing it safe. Okay, you know what? It looks like I'm going to end 4 today. Let's go 4. I want to see those risky moves of them really trying to do whatever they can to get that first place. So, kind of something I'm thinking of,
I'll be honest, that's actually a good point. I didn't really think about that, but that is actually factual. I agree with that. I guess one thing I'll say that I wish was instituted more, and I don't know how you would feel about this, but I was a fan of no stage breaks. Completely.
Yeah, nice.
I enjoyed it. I heard a lot more discussions on more technical and things that the drivers were really looking at, like fuel, for an example. It wasn't because they can always fuel up on the stage breaks. It's always, you can go in and pit during that, so it's a predetermined strategy. But without that, I don't know. I liked it. I was a fan.
I thoroughly enjoyed that, yes, for this type of race, a road course. But I just don't know how well that would transition over to your regular speedways, stuff like that. I don't know if that would really work out, and it might just kind of feel like somewhat of a blur. I don't know, without I'm kind of a fan of the stage breaks, because we still have stage winners in this, and stuff. But
they didn't stop the race, though. That was the big thing. It was more
kept it going, which in theory probably should have made the race shorter, but with all these cautions and everything, basically equal to
It was shaping up to be a nice, clean finish. If those last 7 cautions didn't happen, the race would have ended in probably like sub 3 hours, maybe right around the 3-hour mark, which is not bad for NASCAR. But of course, the cautions came out and it bumped it up to around 4, close to 4 at least, which is teetering on the ridiculous side in my opinion. But I can
Again, what do I have to do on a Sunday?
But
I will sit down and watch 4. Give me 5 hours. I don't care.
You
But
know-
no, I get what you mean now.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Just kind of going back, looking at some of the finishes too. Another one I want to mention, I want to give props to Corey LaJoie, my man, dude. I'm becoming a Corey LaJoie fan, man. You know, stack them pennies. Like, this is week 2 now where he's had a good finish. This was not top 10, he's 11, but I'm really liking what he's doing this season. And if I'm not mistaken, he drives for Legacy team or whatever, and I could see him eventually, if he continues to do what he's doing now, I could see him leave and go and get another contract for a bigger team and stuff, because he's doing everything he needs right now, performing well, where he might be on the market for a hot free agent. I don't know his contract specifically, but whenever it comes up, he's looking like a pretty good driver to some teams would keep an eye out for.
If he's a free agent next year, which we'll have to, this will be something we can look up after the pod's out. Going to be 2 open seats over at Stewart Haas. So, with Harvick retiring and Almirola, this should be his last year unless he backs out of his. He said already that he was going to retire, and then he backed out of it to come back this year. So I'm assuming if you say you're going to retire, you'd come back. This is kind of the quote-unquote swan song or whatever you want to say. So we're going to have 2 open seats, the 4 and the 10. But I don't know.
Who knows?
Not to be disrespectful, but if LaJoie jumps in the 10, it would be a pretty even swap. If he jumps in the 4, it's going to be a little bit of a downgrade.
Those are some big shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's... Again, I'm going to just not be too disrespectful, I'm a fan, but...
I'm waiting for the 18 to come back, Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, I know. I wonder I think we were talking about that offline, but weren't they just waiting to not fill it because they didn't want to give it to Ty Gibbs? It would have been too much of a, exactly like the situation we're talking about. Too big a shoes to fill.
My understanding is I think they wanted to let it rest. There was so much drama in the off season and everything that they just wanted to give it a rest for a little bit. But it will definitely be coming back, and I hope it's someone. I want it to be someone who, kind of deserves to have that number. That's not like you said, like the number 4. That's not easy shoes to fill. So
no.
One other thing I just kind of wanted to mention is, being a Toyota fan, and I'm glad that we won today and everything like that, but I'm not fully thrilled with how the rest of the Toyotas are driving. Truex, he's been basically, besides the Clash, which doesn't count, been pretty middle of the pack. Denny Hamlin, too. I'm not really impressed with how he's been driving this season thus far. I mean, we're 5 races in, but not fully thrilled with him. Like I mentioned earlier, looks like right now Ty Gibbs has been performing pretty damn good. Him and Christopher Bell both have been doing probably the best out of the Toyotas, and I don't know, man. It just doesn't seem like the Toyotas really what they're doing so far this year. What do you think about that?
Safe to say there's some trouble in paradise over at JGR. I know you're a big Gibbs fan, so I know it's it's hurting you. Your 2311 allegiance is a little waning recently.
I like 2311. I like Joe Gibbs. What can I say?
No,
but
speaking of,
I was gonna say 2311. That's a whole other issue too.
Speaking of, did you see Bubba after the race? I don't know if you saw his post race interview. If not, no. I'll just mention it.
Yeah,
he was pretty critical of himself. He was, I guess, he went out, use your error, complete use your error. He called it a rookie mistake. During his post race interview, he said that 6 years in Cup. Shouldn't be making these mistakes. I think I need to be demoted. I need to lose my seat. Yep. Don't quote me. That was not verbatim, but that is very accurate to what he said. And obviously, people are saying, he's being too hard on himself, this and that. But that 23 seat's getting hot with Reddick on board because, we were talking last week, there's always a 1A and a 1B driver.
Oh, totally.
Reddick's 1A, my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right now for sure. That is crazy. Okay, that is the first thing I'm doing after this is over is I'm going to look at that.
Yeah.
I did not see that. And what did I say? I said about 2-3 weeks ago, I said, Bubba, this is his year. He's had one Cup Series win. Okay, he had that playoff win, but that doesn't matter. It literally doesn't count. He had that one win, and that was, I'm sorry, but it was because of the weather, and he kind of, as Bush would say, backed himself into that win.
Yep.
Dude, this is your year, and, it's kind of changed the record. I thought you were just going to say that, he's being critical on himself. I'm like, okay, I hear that basically every week. But to hear that he needs to be demoted, which is from left field, I would never expect anyone to say that.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to make sure
saying that himself, that's very weird to say that. And so, I mean, there's some drivers in the Cup Series that drive Xfinity. Do you think maybe he should drive? Because you can do that where you drive Xfinity on Saturday, then Sunday you drive the Cup. Should he be getting more practice and possibly, be driving a little bit of Xfinity? What do you think?
All I'll say to that is that of course could help. More reps, more practice always is helpful. But if you're the number one guy for a team, and we're having to discuss if he needs more time in Xfinity, more time in trucks, more time in whatever, that's a pretty big red flag, my opinion.
Okay, well, what I'm going to say is that you're saying he's the number one guy, and don't get me wrong, big fan of Bubba. I got his flag right there, but I think last year when it was Kurt and him, pretty even playing fields, if not Kurt, I mean, he won a race and was confirmed to go into the playoffs. Well, but, concussion and everything, bless his heart. But right now, with the acquisition of Tyler Reddick and him being able to start early at 23-11, who's to really say that Bubba is that guy? He's the A. I would say right now that is not. I think I heard a dog for a second.
Yeah, we just little technical delay, and you might hear another one. So if I mute my mic, you'll just have to take over the convo. But
sure.
what I'll say to that is he's in the 23. He is the main driver. He's in the 23. Literally, that is MJ's ownership of the team. You're going to put the best driver in the number 23.
It's true. I mean, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's just numbers,
I don't know. That's
whatever.
That's just me. That's just my opinion. It could be wrong. I could be right. But
now that we're talking about 23-11, I wonder how long until they get another car on the team.
That's a great question. I don't know how that process works. It would definitely be. I'm assuming they would.
I mean, I kind of compared them similarly to Trackhouse Racing. Trackhouse has Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, two drivers. 23-11 is Reddick and Bubba Wallace. I think it just comes down to, I could be wrong, I'm not sure of the whole situation, but I think it comes down to just, paying for it, getting another car and stuff. Sponsorships, that's a nightmare, but...
I like how 23-11, truthfully, has the two numbers. It's 23, it's 45. MJ, obviously, we're big basketball fans as well. That doesn't really bleed over to the pod because it's not necessary, but, MJ wore both those numbers. The 45 has a cool history to it, how MJ wore that number. That's just a very...
Wow. You blew my mind right there. I did not even put that together. Are you talking about when he was playing for the Wizards? He was wearing 45?
No, when he was playing...
Oh, no, shit. I'm going to edit that out.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to leave this part in. You can keep the cursing in because that's not getting edited out. I swear, if that is not
God.
it...
Okay, all right. Skip all that, whatever. That is insane. I did not put that together. Well,
yeah, that is exactly why I find that so cool. And I guess the only thing is how would, I don't know. I'm sure it wouldn't matter too much, but they could always do another random number. But the 23 and the 45 is just.
Was he I'm assuming he was 23 when he was on the Wizards, right?
He was, yes. 23.
Yeah, okay. So he's only played with two numbers, 23 and 45, right?
Yeah. And then this is where I wish I would have it on the top of my head. That jersey number, I think we would have to Google it, but when his jersey got stolen before the game and he had to wear that random jersey, I don't know if
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you either, but that would be a cool number, but I bet you it's already.
And they wouldn't do that. Well, did he have a number in college?
It was 12.
For North Carolina? 12?
The jersey that he wore when his jersey got stolen before the game, he had to wear number 12 for that game.
For sure.
And
that's 12 is a NASCAR driver.
It is. Isn't it Byron? Or is it Blaney?
You're insane.
It's Blaney.
Nah, Blaney's got a low number. Oh, no, you were right. Wow. Kudos. Dude, I might have won the 2 picks right now, but Jordan's on fire with the knowledge nuggets.
Hey, the trivia, dude. I'm a NASCAR trivia guy. What can I say?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I'm glad we kind of went on this kind of discourse, talking a little bit about 2311, little Stuart Haas, what we're thinking, stuff, and I mean, overall, I think we got. Did you have any other comments, anything like that?
As of now, no. Great race.
No F1 this week.
No, I was going to say, that's exactly what I was going to bring up. No F1 this week, but next week we're going to be in Australia. Should be a great race. I'm hoping that it's a little bit more competitive than the first 2 races of the year. Obviously, Red Bull just has a absolutely dominant vehicle, and I don't see anyone stopping them. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah. It's always fun to see who the second team will be, I guess. And looking like this year, it's going to be between Ferrari and Aston Martin. So that'll be something to keep our eyes on. And we'll definitely throw our picks in for F1 next week as well. So,
as I mentioned, too, the Australian Grand Prix is Saturday next week. I don't know what it is actually in Australia, but for us,
10 p.m.
View 10 p.m.
Yeah, I'll be watching it. I'll be watching it live. That's freaking awesome.
I'm stoked. Yeah. I can't wait. So
that's going to be a good race too.
Yeah, we'll get that. Then we got Richmond next week, and kind of see where we go from there with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess one more thing I wanted to mention, just for the Burnouts. You know, it always helps to support the pod any way you can. If you want to throw us a share, throw us a follow. You can follow us on Twitter at NextGenBurnouts. We do live tweeting throughout the races. We do our picks. We do predictions. We're going to start throwing up polls. So go ahead, give us a follow. Just support the boys. That's all we're asking for.
We're taking over the motorsport industry.
Yeah.
Next-gen Burnouts are coming here. We're here to stay, too. So spread the word, let everyone know, and we're just gonna keep getting better and better. And we are officially going on to Apple Podcasts this week. Jordan is responsible for it, and he dropped it this week. Let's be honest, he dropped it. It was not on Apple Podcasts, but this one, I'm sending him the audio file over, and it is officially going on Apple Podcasts exclusively, apparently. So.
I need to definitely work with my technical director, kind of get him straightened out. I know that he's had some issues this week, his schedule, he's a busy guy, but we're going to get on Apple one way or the other. And, yeah, it was a great pod.
If we don't get it on Apple Podcast this week, you got to hold Jordan accountable.
Yeah, you got to keep I don't know how I got the podcast portion.
Because I run the YouTube.
Bro, you splice up this video. It takes you 2 seconds.
Bro, that is at least you clearly have not uploaded one because it takes a lot longer than that. And I get all we don't even need to fight over the podcast right now.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Let's just say I do my fair share, so I'm gonna need you to throw that on Apple Podcast. But Burnouts, that is a wrap for episode 5. Stoked to see you guys next week. We're gonna be covering F1, a little bit of NASCAR. I can't wait.
Yep. Drop us a follow, drop us a share. Until next week.
Peace out, Burnouts.